Hello everyone, my name is Skynight, and today I have a deck profile for you on Beast Deities. I've been playing this deck for actually quite some time. It's surprising that I didn't have a profile on this. So without any hesitation, further ado, let's show you how these deities command the show. Starter. Riot the Horn. I thought about running this copy at 2, just for the control matchup where they retire it. But this guy is really good at 1. When something in front of it stands itself. Primarily this doesn't go behind the Vanguard, but with 2 restanding Stride units, this card's actually pretty good, and you actually can't put it behind the Vanguard. But I actually like to put it behind one of the rear guards because it makes much more sense. So I'm going to start top down because it's easier that way. Let's see, let me find it right here. Here we go. I run 4 copies of the Azure Dragon. Now, you're probably wondering, why Azure Dragon? And this is for when you go first. And I have, and both my grade 3 options, I'll just throw it out there. Both my grade 3 options are awesome when you go first. So I run 3 copies of Extreme and 1 Yamato Dragon. So most people would run the Break Ride. I actually don't like the Break Ride, if we're being fairly honest. I don't think the Break Ride really works with Beast Deities, especially when you Break Ride on with Ethics Extreme. Because it's kind of redundant. It really is. Yes, you get to stand the front row, but late game, if you have, you attack, stand the front row, now you have to stand 2 rear guards, but with 1 right horn already being stood behind, you're probably going to stand the other side, and it just becomes clunky. It really does. So with Azure Dragon, if you're going first, they're going to be afraid to let this hit, so they're probably going to guard this, which is excellent. Or you get a free hit and you just Persona Blast and you get to stand in the column, which is also great. So either or, you're already ahead. On the 3 copies of the Ethics Extreme, I would have 4, but I actually only own 3. So this Yamato Dragon is actually a very good number 2, very good one to have on the side. And again, Ethics Extreme is amazing, especially when you have the Limit Break Remover. So now you're possibly getting 5 attacks or more during your combat step. And I play just so if I go first, I have something to do. That's pretty much the reason why it was that. Also, there is the Illuminal Dragon, which would be the other grade 3 you'd run. But at a Counterblast 3, it hurts in this format. Counterblast 3 actually hurts. Going down, I run 4 Brainy Papios because Brainy Papio is the best, especially when you're on point and you need and you know you're gonna hit because most people don't guard early. You can stand one of your other columns. So Brainy Papio is really good. It forces them to block. I run 4 copies of Hatred Chaos because attacking as a 12k attacker is always good. Especially when you pair it with Riot Horn. Make a 17 column. And lastly, I play 3 copies of Night Jackal. Beast Deity, Jackalord. This card's excellent. When you place it on Vanguard, or place it on Rearguard, Counterblast 1, when it attacks the Vanguard, you can restand another column, and you can restand another unit, and it gives it plus 3k. Usually you're going to stand whatever it is that's in front of the Riot Horn, or you're going to stand the max beat. You're going to restand the max beat to stand something in front. So pretty much you're restanding a column, the way that this works. And this card is excellent, especially if you know you're going to restand with Ethics Buster. So you would attack a rear guard, stand that attack a rear guard with this. So you stand, then attack the Vanguard to get the restand on the outside. So there's combos to be made with this card. It's actually really good. Unfortunately, I don't like the fact that it's once per turn when you ride when it's placed on Vanguard or placed on Rearguard. I don't like that. So usually you're probably intercepting with it, so because you need the space to replay the next one. So, to my grade 1s, I'm running 4 copies of the old Perfect Guard, Solar Falcon. I'm not running the Cyclone because this deck needs to be filled with Beast Deities. So like the Dimensional Robos, I just want more of this. And I don't know, I just like the way this looks over the G Perfect Guard. I don't really have counterblast issues with the deck, because as you can see, both of the grade 3s that I run don't have any counterblast that needs it. And as far as the Stride units, only 2 of my Stride units actually need counterblast. So I'm not really hurting to unflip. 3 Stride units, because sometimes you need to get there. 3 Limit Break removers. This card I primarily want to be behind the Vanguard because it's I want these cards. I want these 3 to be behind the Vanguard because I want this to be behind the rear guards, because I need the rear guards to restand. So I run 4 copies of max speed. So if this is behind one of the rear guards on the side, I can stand something in front of it. So there are certain plays that you can make by having this behind the Vanguard, but I primarily want this guy. That way my Ethics Extreme, having this Ethics Extreme can just attack, and if I'm going first, I can create some devastating attacks. Or this guy, I can stand rear guard columns and just become a monster and pretty much destroy my opponent. So, lastly, trigger units. Classic. Very, very, oh, you can't see up there, hold on. Very, very classic. 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. Reasons. It was 12 crit, but I was finding that I kept running out of a hand, which is not cool. And on top of that, I want more Beast Deities on the field, so if I end up having to play a card, if I end up having to play a trigger, I want to at least be a Beast Deity. I run this critical trigger on the grounds of if I need an extra counterblast of 2, I can go into the soul to create my combos. Pretty much that's it. Hopefully the next Nova Gapper set gives me more Beast Deities, because you need more. The deck is really good. I'll go into more of that when I'm done. G units. I run 4. No particular reason. I usually sit comfortably at 5, but 4 is good. 2 of the Dismals, because I need to protect my grade 2s, which is Hatred, Benny Papio, or Hatred Chaos. I gotta protect those at all costs, or even the max beat sometimes. So this is definitely there to protect. And this, if we're being honest, I probably would run Screw over this, because I need to have equal or more damage to my opponent, and I'm really not about that life. Really not about that life. Stride units, 4 Bustards. Having a full field is extremely easy for me to do, and even easier to do with a field that works. Bustard is amazing. Usually if I'm going into this first, I'll flip a copy of itself, because I know if I go into this, I'm probably going to go into it again. Yeah, if I'm going first, if I'm starting into this first, I will flip a copy of itself because I know I'm going to stride into it again to get that mean restand. And definitely it's powerful with restanding because I know I have the max speed and I know I have the riot horn that if I send something from the riot horn is going to stand, or the max speed. If I stand the max speed, counter blast 1 to stand another unit. So if I can do, by getting 2, I can pretty much create a whole new line for attackers and attack at max power. 4 copies of Catastrophe because Catastrophe is amazing. I will, if I stride into Catastrophe first, I'll flip over a copy of Bustard because I know if I stride into Catastrophe again, I'm just going to flip over another copy of Catastrophe. But I want to be able to set this up that way if I stride into this on the second stride, I'll be able to flip 2 so I can get the restand. And lastly, 4 copies of Victor. If I can't make a column for some odd reason, I will go
Power
into
off.
If I can't make a line for some reason on my rear guards, I will go into Victor. Victor is there for, oh my god, things aren't going my way. I can't create columns. Let me go into this. And usually I will be able to, I will usually have Generation Break 3 by doing this, but, you know, it's, if I have that real bad hand filled with triggers, because it does happen, Victor's amazing. And guys, that's pretty much it. That's the whole deck. The deck's actually really good. The deck is actually really good. It has the early game pressure, which most of the G-Break decks don't have, because they really can't. So you're able to bully your opponent before they're able to stride, which is why I like this. My favorite hands are having grades 1s and 2s, no triggers and no 3s. That way I know I can get a full field of attacking against my opponent. But the downside to this deck is when it's bad, it's really bad. Like when you can't create any columns or you can't create any good lines or have any attackers, you're at your worst. This is not like a Vanguard centric deck where your Vanguard can do the work. This deck is very rear guard dependent, which it's not like having the Rail Paladins where you can have nothing, flip over an alt mile, and you magically get a grade 2. You know, it's, I think if Nova Grappers got that, they'd become broken. Other strides, or the cards, I was running the new one from the Fighters collection, the new grade 2, but it eats up your counterblast, which I know I said it wasn't an issue, but the counterblast is pretty much used for something else. I don't really need to kill cards on my opponent's field, if we're being really honest. That's just me being greedy. Vic 10, Victoplasma, I would run at 2 and replace a pair of the Victors, to be honest. So it'd be 2 Victors to Victoplasma. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna get the heckles out of here. I quoted someone. Have a nice day. Be well.